a quick chat in love and support, because we are moving towards let's see where the astrologies are. I did a little mini update on Instagram. I did some updates on the website. I did a lot of recording today. And I needed to give you guys some updates as well. So I was like, okay, we'll come to you live. We'll give the updates. I'm going to grab a look at the astrology. And we will have a quick chat about the current transits, where things are at, to give you a little bit of support. Love and support. Okay, let's look at the moon phases. We're going to talk about the emotions. I said I was going to do energy readings. I haven't had time to, because I just frankly needed to, I say. But this is where the astrology is at, really. You know, it's pretty much okay, we're each to our own. We have to do everything, and we're doing the best we can. So I, like you, am in the same boat. So this month we have the new moon in Pisces, which is deeply emotional, which I did warn all of you it would be that way. We have Neptune in Pisces. We have Jupiter in Pisces. Jupiter is transiting into Aries soon, okay? So be ready for that. The new moon being in Pisces can link to mother, can link to your inner child, and also has a link in your chart somewhere, right? And I mentioned on Instagram, in every placement of astrology, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's the truth. Even though it's a new moon, in order to get a new energy, you have to end something to begin something, theoretically. The shadow sign also is Virgo, which we are having the Virgo full moon on the 18th. For some of you, it can happen the day before, a little bit earlier. And that is to do with it's Mercury in orientation. So the funniest thing happened today, you know, read a comment on YouTube. And the whole day was reacting like a Mercury retrograde. It's like, and I said this to you guys, I said, I'm telling you, oh yeah, I sent you guys songs for love. I was like, oh, this energy is heavy. And we'll talk about the reasons why. Let's quickly look at the moon at the moment. Monthly moon, where is it? Moon phase calendar. I'm pretty sure we mentioned it was going from Gemini into Cancer, I believe. So for me, I'm at the 10th. Some of you may be at the 8th moving to the 9th. Where are you at? Hit me with it where you are in the country. You at the 10th? Are you at the 10th yet? 10 a.m. So at the 10th, we have the moon in Gemini for half the day. Late afternoon, moves into the house of Cancer. So you may be flowing along great. Right. Ohio, there you go, Florida. And then it shifts into Cancer. And what's Cancer? What about me? So Giggle and I were laughing earlier. And then all of a sudden this wave of energy come over. And my rising's bloody Cancer. Shit. And I was like, collective consciousness, here we go. Now, so we do have the moon in Cancer for 3 days, transiting through Cancer. It is it goes from the 10th, which is the first quarter Gemini, which is to do with, gosh, you've got to do a lot. You know, you're feeling quite productive. You're running around doing things. It's quite analytical to a degree. You may be thinking, you may be talking, you may be chatting, you may be scrolling. And yes, I was doing a lot of different tasks today. So I had one thing coming up that was on YouTube, and somebody asked me a question to do with the star signs. And it was, okay, I need to address that. Let me have a look. Let me not presume. And again, being that it was Gemini, it was reacting like a Mercury retrograde, which in fact the full moon in Virgo is very Mercury in nature. So for some of us, we're kind of looking at, you know, maybe doing a lot of tasks, and maybe some of these things are filtering through and we're not seeing it. I thought, okay, what's going on here? In the Members Hub, it does say what we do cover. However, the templates in my video were saying, hey, find the extensions in the Members Hub. But that doesn't mean every video. We had to restructure it at the beginning of the year due to the fact the most dominant videos that were being watched for some known reason. My most prominent videos used to be watched 15,000 times, which was all great in the algorithm, right? But it's just not that now. So going from that to 80 views, I had to look at what was the most looked at content. and restructure the way I do everything. It's not that they're not good or that you don't enjoy them. It's that in reality, to keep the channel afloat, if we don't get views, we don't keep our channel afloat. So I shifted the energy to those. I have started a star sign hub that gives you the monthly updates on now. I realised today, on top of the fact that I needed to put the disclaimer, which is in the community tab, and it's just to be transparent. It's like, right, this is what's going on. What we're aiming to do is future tense. You know, it took me 3 months to redo the website. I only had a revelation today that I'm like, hey guys, are you enjoying the freebie members hub? And I went into the settings. I tried to show my sister the website. So on top of the YouTube thing I had to deal with, this is the whole Gemini energy with the moon. I then realized the website was, you couldn't get into the rooms. And I was like, why isn't this loading? What's going on? And I went back in the settings. And sure enough, I found I had not opened it. So I've been asking all my clients, how are you liking the members hub? And yeah, it's great. And I'm like, well, how are they to know? How am I to know? We're both on different sides of the spectrum. I'm looking at the computer at the website. They're looking just at the website thinking, yeah, man, it looks great. So Giggle and I were laughing our heads off going, lost in translation. So it's officially open. The ones that are up at the moment, I did a little tweak of it, okay? And so the initial star signs that you get, they're there, right? The next ones are going to be better because they're going to give a general energy inside it. And you're going to get it monthly. When I do have enough time, you're going to get moon transits and different things. But again, it took me 3 to 4 months to build the website. I had to build the templates for all the star sign subscriptions. I've added extra links to them now. So you're going to have wellness. You're going to have chakra reports, chakra charts. So that on that month when I mention, okay, this week what you need to deal with is use these gemstones, use this color therapy, use this meditation, use this food group, always seek medical advice. You know, all the disclaimers I've got to cover myself and you and keep you in the loop. You've got yourself covered, okay? So I have got a landing page for what is covered in the subscription. As it transforms, I'm adding new features. I may add audio to the actual subscription at some stage so that if you're driving in the car and you want to listen to each component of it, singles, couples, the general energy, the warning dates, your career sector, business astrology, which I cover, unemployment, your wellness week by week, and, you know, how to deal with emotions, what you should and shouldn't do. I got you covered. And it's $30, which is our super chats on YouTube are $11. And it's for a whole month. So it's covering you for the whole month report and all those areas and how to navigate and what to expect. What other thing can I say? So that went down today. I was like, oh, okay, they can't actually access it. So the initial ones that you got at the moment, they don't go into too much detail. The next side of it is going to be the template that I use for the paid memberships. You'll see the top of the article and it'll give you a basic overview of what your star sign is going to experience. And for the deeper energy, if you want to, you go and subscribe and then you get the rest. I can't find the site to book a personal reading. It should be below the box style, so there can be a directly below this video. If you click the link, it will show the website. So it's got the website, subscriptions, it's got all those links. If you go on to most of the videos and you click the information box, it'll always be directly below. What else can I say? So we've got the Twin Flame subscription hub too. And I did retweak it this month because I did discover some of my skills that I have had up my sleeve for a while through my path, and we're doing mirror work inside there. So it is a great resource through my personal experience on my awakening, my twin flame path, that you can utilize through the moon phases. And I give you coaching inside of that, which is great because when we do look at the purchasable for the readings, I provide video readings. For those of you that aren't so savvy with time differences, yet you can always inbox me, and there is an information section on the website that tells you how to do the time conversions. And once you've done the first one, it's pretty easy and you roughly know what the time differences are. And from that point moving forward, you know what time to book with me. We've got Skype, which is great, which at some point I will be adding Zoom. That will be an added service, which by joining the website, it is free. We are going to be having some up and coming webinars, future tense, that will be hosted regularly and they will be free. So by joining that website, you are going to be in the loop. It'll be the ones that are directly connected to it. Separately, another thing that I launched, which was really looking at the problems that us as YouTubers are having and really connecting with you guys. And it was the fact that with our subscriber count and with everything that YouTube is directly dealing with, they can't always give the notifications and they don't want to be spamming you. But at the same time, if you've said, hey, look, I'm clicking the bell, these are the notifications I want. 9 times out of 10, the settings with the billions of channels that they're currently dealing with, which I totally can empathize with, it has come down to us to be responsible for that. So I have created a notification hub on the website, which I am going to be filling up a calendar for it. At the moment, it's open. Subscribe to it when I'm ready to really push them out. I have been pushing notifications and updates on it. You're going to be kept in the loop of anything, okay? What I mean by anything is, if you put 3 posts up in a day and you exceed that limit, you do not get a notification. So if sometimes you're landing on a person's page and you are subscribed to their channel and you're not getting a notification, many people have said with Mercury and Venus, Mercury retrograde, Mercury direct, sometimes when we go back in the settings, it directly does affect technology. So sometimes you're unsubscribed. I'm trying to get notifications on here to remind each of us to double check during that time. The other thing can be, because bots can connect to our channels, they go through and do an audit, and sometimes it takes you guys out. By subscribing to the website, if I exceed those 3 notifications, because I'll give you a notification the day before here at YouTube and a notification the day of the lives on Friday, if I've put something up in between that, you don't get notified. So it's kind of a, it's a frustrating situation. So you kind of turned up and you're doing your video and nobody's there. We used to open all our star signs, which a lot of YouTubers shifted around and they were like, we can't actually open all 12 now. If you open your video and in the first 20 minutes it is not successful, it gets thrown down in the algorithm, which is deeply frustrating for fellow YouTubers who are trying very hard to grow their channel. So I have separately created a notification hub on my website. If you want to support the channel and you want to know, join the website. It's got freebies on it. But it's another service basically that I'm offering for those of you that want that. So we're going to look at the, so that was the second thing. It was issues with the website. Had to do an update with the YouTube situation to the extension reads and what basically I'm offering. I'm moving into weekly content, which I have been providing lately. There has been some things going on, in life in general, as well as trying to launch these new hubs. So we've got the Twin Flame Hub. We have the meditation that does come in the duo packs. So star signs, twin flame, subscription, duo packs joint. I'm creating education content for the Twin Flame Collective. So no, I don't have a busy life. And I am spreading myself between all platforms. Let's have a look at the moon. So for the next 3 days, we've moved out of Gemini. By afternoon, for those of you in America and other sides of the world, emotions may crop up, okay? Sit with it. Be gentle to yourself. If you need to cry, cry. But get to that heart-centered energy. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle to other people. It's spiritual. It's emotional. It's inner child energy. Balance the lower chakras. Then as we move to the 14th, and you'll find it by late afternoon on the 13th, some of you can feel it the day before, we're moving into the moon in Leo. Now, I've got to be really careful how I say things because I'm on social media. Leo can relate to heart chakra. For those of you that have issues surrounding that, always seek medical advice, but be more cautious during that time. It is heart chakra. Moreover, the moon in Virgo also relates to higher heart chakra. It's Chiron energy. So it's kind of prepping us. We're like a painting and we're being prepped to have that canvas whitewashed, purified, cleansed, detoxed. Your body's doing that, your soul's doing that, your psyche's doing that. We may psychologically want to, you know, go, I don't feel anything, but it's that we're protective of ourselves. It's not necessarily that we don't feel anything. It's that we're a bit numb. Yeah, I do connect in with you guys. Okay. So we're going to be having the moon transiting Virgo. Now, how can this be positive? We can't get bitchy at people, okay? Don't be critical to yourself. I'm not pretty enough. You could be frustrated that things aren't happening. You may have a lot on your plate. It's a full moon in Virgo. It is to do with Mercury and nature. You could be running around trying to get everything done. Giggle and I were laughing at the information lost in translation. You know, we were talking about the website and she's going, yeah, YILDIZ looks great. And I'm going, did you see it? And, you know, yes, okay. And we said this weeks ago, you know, in therapy kind of thing, right? The therapist said to me one day, and it wasn't really a therapy session for me, it was a coaching session for my daughter and I years ago. She said to my daughter, let's get up. Can't believe I'm drawing on the box. Okay. She said to my daughter, this is what you see. And you're adamant that's all there is. And she's like, yeah, that's right. You're right there. Now, I see this. Okay. Got to have comedy. We need it for our therapy. Okay. This is what she sees, and she's adamant that's all there is. Therapist says, but I see this. Right. Are we ready? Now, what do mothers do? What did your mother used to do to you? Mother's like, oh, we're not going to get anywhere. Anyway, my point is, so with the circumstance, A, with the moon, B, with Shelley and I, giggle when we were talking, I'm asking her, this is her, did you like it? Yeah, it was great, but this is what she sees. This is what happens in our twin flame connection when we're communicating. Lost in translation. You're presuming you're having a conversation. They're like, yeah, okay, this is what I'm hearing. From my perspective and my view of what I'm currently seeing, I'm seeing this and it's like, yeah, from what I can see on the website, it's looking great. Yeah. This is a really important example. And me, I'm like, I'm so glad you like it. Have we heard what we thought we heard? We were laughing our heads off. This is what we were. There was a wall in between of context. She did see the website, but she wasn't to know there's hundreds of bloody rooms in there. And I was like, I'm so glad you like it. Dig a bit deeper. Open the box up. Dig a bit deeper, you know? That's what happens when we communicate when we're wounded. And that's kind of the problem. When we're rushing, that's one example. When we're tired, that's one example. So Giggle saying to me, looks great, girl. I'm tired. It looks great. It's right. And I'm like, I'm going at 100 miles. I'm glad. Cool. Do we get what this is showing us? So yes, at an emotional level, we have the moon in Cancer. Now, is it a great time to go, did you know how you made me feel? And meanwhile, they're like this too. And you're going, oh shit, I didn't know I did that. And you're like, yeah, you did. What? That's the problem. Okay, are we getting where the communication into inflamed path is the most diabolical? I can say I have been where you've been, right? But in looking at where I was and what I used to do, I can honestly say I didn't have the tools, right? I didn't know these things. I didn't have context. I didn't have a coach. Too close to the fire and you burn. Too close to the emotion, it's too personal. When you desensitize it by actually taking yourself out of this situation to look at it like a painting, you can get some context. But while we're too close, this is how I feel, this is how you feel. In any transaction, and we can see what's happening in the globe at the moment, which is deeply sad, deeply sad, especially after all we learned from 2020 to 2021. That's why at a collective level, our heart chakra is activating. Pisces is our spirituality as human beings. It is our psychology. It's the reason we fight for things. But coming back to the heart space, which is Virgo, is the love. You got to eat right. You got to sleep right. Talking, which is Virgo, and getting to the root cause of those details are where negotiations can come from. And so if you were to have contact with a love interest, with a contract, with the decision that you have to make towards your life, and, the coaching I did on Instagram was really communicating to the masculines. And I feel, sometimes we're in our wounds and we have had the most horrendous things happen to us. But when we look at the wider group of what's happening in the world, I used to say to myself, just to humble my ego, I really did. I am but a grain of sand, and in the context of the world, my problems are trivial. And it was so that I didn't always personalize and live in my past, so I could try and come back to this present moment and see the value of everything I had. And maybe through that I was going to learn something, and I was, Rapunzel, let down your hair. I wasn't going to go live in a bloody tower and hide for the rest of my life. I wanted to exist in the matrix. I may not have been of the matrix. And especially I think empaths are very sensitive. But you get angry at that sensitivity and you need to embrace that sensitivity. It's who you are. It didn't mean that because you were sensitive, that placed you as a victim. No, we need people like you on the planet. The empath is the divine feminine within every human being. Does it immunize you against pain? No, but that's what love is. That's what feelings are. That's what having an existence on this planet is. How do we directly transform and grow? You could say, I don't like yogurt. And, then you never try yoga. And then you do and you're like, wow, I've never experienced that. So the context I had to tell myself years ago through my ascension and my separation was getting to the point you could smell the trees, getting to the point that you were present in this moment. And I wasn't really shifting that goalpost all the time and saying, geez, it's been 27 years. Where the F are you, right? It's context. Oh, cool. I'll see you then, doll. It's context. It's not where you are. Think about where you had, and the mirror works great because the mirror kind of gets us to a space where we can say, okay, what is this showing me about my belief towards myself? So I did a lot of mirror work, and it was sometimes I would get angry at it, but usually it was because I could see something that I was messing up at, and it was a little bit hard. It was a bitter pill to swallow, so to speak. So the mirror work helped me understand my human nature and my conditioning, even though I didn't know it was there. So at times I would get frustrated. I'll give you, give me an example of what you get frustrated with your twin. Anyone in the house want to chat? It's been so humid here. Yeah. I hope you like the, do you remember when we were going to get the dolls for on here? I didn't get around to it. I think we were using chess, weren't we? The reenacting. Yeah. The good old reenacting. So, the moon, how many degrees is it at? Does it say? Now, this is our preparation. I literally call this month the preparation canvas for the showdown. Miscommunication holding back. That's your biggest frustration? I'm going to have to think on this one. Okay. If I asked you with the communication, this is going to be interesting, right? I don't know how I'm going to say this. How do I explain it? Okay, and communication. How many of you would say you have great intuition? I better make sure I bloody spell it right, eh? Kerry will give me crap. You try typing with these. I'm trying. These were for tarot, right? Hi, Kerry. Okay, now, with communication, so Giggle says she has great intuition, okay? Anyone else, do you have a good relationship with your intuition? My twin gave me this song ages ago, and it's so springing to mind. Okay, so you have a great relationship with your intuition. I'm going to go through and ask each of you individually. We're having a test. You're like, YILDIZ, this should be the twin flame room. Nope, not anymore. Since twin, I question my choices now. Okay, and this is a huge issue that I had to rectify, and I can see it coming through with this one section. So one of my biggest problems I had was, number one, I had a great connection to my feelings, my intuition, my psychic energy. However, when I was working on personal development on myself inside of Reunion at a point, I was not focused on what other people were doing, which is healthy, okay? But then if you have something bad happen, you have to reform your relationship with your intuition and reform that forgiveness to yourself. The reason is because subconsciously you believed that if your intuition had worked correctly, you could have protected yourself from getting hurt in the first place. Any hands up? So I became very angry at myself. I was angry at myself. I was cross that my intuition had led me astray. But the thing that we need to realize is you are not another person's mother. okay? So in fact, your intuition is correct. And so you start moving into second guessing yourself. The first point of you trusting a person is free. Then the social accountability of cause and effect is if something happens, you need to have the courage to follow through. And that can mean, by your standards, it means you have to step back. Then we also own the fact that it didn't reach its full potential. And again, you're owning that. But in fact, your intuition still isn't the problem. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're going in a circle. And so it is a point where you have to say to yourself, anytime it comes up, my intuition is not the problem. It is not the problem. I have a healthy relationship with my instincts as a feminine, and it guides me correctly to my own cause and to my own social responsibilities, not onto others. Now, what then happens is we can form habits, because when the ego is wounded, it creates protective mechanisms. Hi, sweet. And so as it creates protective mechanisms, it builds up all these senses. Oh, that reminds me of that situation. I'm going into protectivity. I'm going to avoid that. I'm not going to speak now because this person may not talk to me. I'm not going to react because this person might cheat on me. But the thing is, then we can go to extremities, and it can be raising our voice. It can be trying to control a situation. It can be wondering where that person is, what they're doing. We go to extremities. Now, the thing is, if you come back to this one moment, right, and you say to yourself, it happened. Do I have a bad relationship with my intuition? No. Now, ask yourself correctly, what are you wanting to hear from your twin? Quickly put it up. Don't micromanage it. Truth comes through fluidly. I want to hear that my twin loves me. I want to hear that the person is committing to me. Write what you're thinking. Whatever it is in your mind right now, what is the first thing that you are wanting to hear from that individual? Can't believe I'm up at this bloody ungodly hour. I used to do this 3 o'clock in the morning with you guys. I still don't have a life, but got 110 Fahrenheit over here. It's disgusting. I should be thinning out, and it ain't happening. Let's get physical. So, you know, what would you like to hear from your twin? I want to hear that he loves me, wants me only. Okay, that's the first one. Anyone else? I want to hear that it's on like donkey. Hi, Elizabeth. What's on his mind? That, come on, Kerry, there's more than that. You know there's 100% more than that. I know you too well. I choose you and only you. Now, okay, we're breaking it down. Any other givers? Any other givers? Challenge of the day. Kerry, you need to give a bit more than that. I want to hear that he is protecting me. Okay. I'm going to give you some examples. Don't shoot the messenger. Giggle remembers this many moons ago. We were sitting there. What's the hold up? You have said many times you want to know he will choose you. Which again, in the context, when we've been hurt, betrayed, that is what we're wanting to hear. So it is the wounded abandonment energy, okay? You want to see, yes. Okay, so this is the crazy thing. We went from communication, where it does actually link to our own inner emotions. Now, we think in logic that it is a one-sided story. But we do rationally know it's not. Okay? You're at the T section in the road. There's cause and effect. There's actions and reactions. Every opportunity is a new opportunity. Okay? So this is divine feminine side. This is divine masculine side. One might have done more shit than the other. It's not this isn't what we're talking about here. All right? Now, divine feminine has been hurt, betrayed, has formed a bad relationship with her intuition. She needs to reconcile with her inner truth and start to test her intuition, to build a healthy respect with her divine intuition, to form that self-love and forgiveness, and to know that anyone on the planet can hurt you, because it's the truth, that you will still love the fact that even us make mistakes and that we can feel hurt, we can get let down, and that, yes, you are worth truth, okay? You are worth that. It wasn't that you aren't. Now, with this intuition, if you did not believe this person didn't love you, you would not be here any longer. Okay? So nothing this person says to you actually changes that. It's nice, but logically, away from the wound, away from the fear, your intuition has got you to this point in your path because you truthfully know that this person does love you. Okay? That is the gospel truth. The other BS is your intuition doesn't need to control. That is not divine feminine. That is karmic in nature. It's protective in nature. It's what we do to defend ourselves as a warrior princess. You need to do that more in a cause and effect if you're seeing. And I always do this as an empath. If I walk into a room, it's like if you can sniff a rat, you know it's there. You deal with it in, accordingness. But if you're up in your feels too much, and you're in a divine masculine frequency of ranting, raving, screaming, overprotectiveness, guess what? You're not going to see the signs because you're in reactivity over divine feminine balance. I'm listening to my instincts. I am not personalizing this. I'm looking, I'm listening, I'm feeling, I'm speaking, I'm dealing. When you do that, you're okay. Okay? He doesn't want to talk about how he feels. There's ways you can go about it. So usually what you find is if you know what you need, you're the resume. Okay? So when you're dealing with a masculine, you have to have a very comfortable energy with who you are. Regardless, you think about it. If you're dealing with a toxic friend or a work colleague or you're managing things, we still have to deal with these same circumstances. So in the fashion that you deal with the masculine is much the same, but that's why we need to get into our divine feminine, not the divine masculine, and know who we are and go, right, I am willing to lose it all because I'm willing to gain it all. But unless you're willing to lose it all, you will negotiate with it. If you negotiate with it, it's negotiable. If it's non-negotiable, these are your needs. And it's not negotiable. It's not a harsh thing. Many times we may get a phone call and a person is saying to you, hi, how you doing? What's up? If it's in an ungodly hour, do not answer that phone call. You may do. You could, if you're in fluid communication, it may be that it was an emergency, something terrible happened. But if it's a habit of that, you avoid that because you don't praise that frequency. That's not the kind of person I am. That's not going to work with me. The other situation is if the person's calling and saying, hey, do you want to catch up? How about you take me out for dinner? How about you, or start earlier. How about you take me out for brekkie? And then you're like, this is the first base. I will give you the map. The map. That's the map. That's my negotiation. Let's go from there. Then it's not going to, okay, dinner can equal going home, can equal something else. And then the concern the next day is, will I get a phone call? You don't want to take yourself there. You're going gradually through the steps to make that person earn that situation, right? The other thing is, if they're in a karmic energy, the way you relate to it's really important. Is it about you? No, it's generally not. It's generally not the person's a better person. It's generally nothing to do with that. So the 7 stages of healing is delayed so much longer because we're in that psychological rat race with it, when really we psychologically are facing our shadows to do with the previous connection. In terms of if a person calls and says, look, I don't want a relationship, you have to call that out and say, look, you're the one who's calling me. I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for. What were you calling for? Be very calm. Be very direct. That is what I'm looking for. And then you cut it. You just cut it and you step back. You can't lose someone who's really, really keen on you. The other thing is, a masculine is more attracted to a person who has high standards. And it's not that up here and I expect you to be a billionaire and you've got to crawl on your knees. No, that's narcissistic, okay? That's getting toxic. It's, look, you have hurt me. There's an earned energy, but it's also for you to recover so you're not causing issues in a reconciliation. Do you get what I'm saying? So obviously the way in which you handle that with communication, you're needing to create a safe space. When people go into communication, when there's been ins and outs of connections, the hardest point is most parties of the person who was hurt wants to go in for the 101 Dalmatians. Where have you been? What have you done? This is what it's going to be. Speak to me. Do you love me? If you've been missing that person and they've come in towards you, right? They've missed you and they've come in towards you. And they're like, I need to get the feels out. Am I going to get hacked up? Is it going to be safe? Is it, you know, how are these feelings going to be? I had to say to myself one day, why am I reacting like, you know, it's not even first base, man. It's like we're going down the bloody aisle. My whole life depends on it. I'm thinking, this is a lot of emphasis. This is obsessive. This is not natural. It is natural for a feminine to look for those things, depending on the age you're going into. But what we need to understand is how we come off in circumstances. If you know that a masculine has been in a connection that's been toxic, and you're going into it with that fashion, it's going to cause issues because it's going to trigger their memory system from where they'd been, just like it triggers you from the crap you've been through, okay? Allowing a person to move in towards you, if they're like, rah, 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 and they've gone, don't freak out. Stop, look, and listen. Pause, right? 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a phone call, okay? If you just calm your farm, just go, fair enough. Doesn't mean you can't have fights. Yes, you can. You're human. I do. Elizabeth, you do? In a very comical way these days, which is great. It's really, really great. But it's been compassionate to you. You're not nice to them. That's the thing. You don't have to be nice. Nice is, I'll be your therapist. I'll be the counsellor. Yeah, you can bring your stuff over. No drama. You said what you said, which is you can't speak to me that way. 100% great. Now, you're fine, right? They can sort their crap. You know what I mean? That is cut the shit off. And look, you can even be direct. This is sometimes what we have to call ourselves out on. You have a social standing of how you presume relationships are governed. Many of you are nice. Many of you are maybe angry at a karmic at a point in your life through your twin flame path. Many of you maybe didn't say anything, endured it, in the dark and festered, okay? After, it might have become more sharp. And it doesn't mean to say all of us have gone through a situation like that. Some of us could have been friends with these individuals, which is fine, which in some of my parts of my life, yes, I was. If this person is in a karmic relationship and connecting with you and communicating with you and sending you lovey-dovey shit, you are within your right to turn around and call BS on that person and say, listen, Linda, I'm just going to tell you straight, you're playing diamonds with my feelings. Yes, I have feelings for you. You best be making up your mind. Otherwise, I'm putting you on timeout to work out what you need. This is where I stand, and leave it be. But to not say anything, you're wasting your time. You need to have the courage to step forward and say, and I had to a few times, I had to actually say to myself, why am I waiting for my divine masculine to do all the work here? Why can I not say, hang on a minute, this is how I'm actually feeling? I don't care if you do or don't like me. I like you. I like you. Yeah, but we have got to a point where when they're trying to keep you in a situation while they're married or in a karmic situation and acting like, I don't want to lose you, but hey, by the way, I'm going home to my missus. That's playing with your feelings. Sometimes we can be friends with them, sometimes we can't. And so it needs to be transparent in your heart and go, look, I'm just going to be perfectly brutally honest with you. I'm always going to have feelings for you. I do not like the way you're treating me. Sometimes you rub your life in my face, and that is not frankly appropriate. So we can stick up for ourselves and be transparent, especially with the, sometimes it is psychological games that goes on. It's the insinuendos. It's, hey, I'm actually spending time. Please don't leave me. And it feels like psychological warfare. It's really interesting that we're talking about this after the bloody Pisces moon. Psychological warfare. But yes, there was times where, so the communication, I can say, does get better. But it's when we learn to communicate our side and just don't try and mince their words. So what can I say? When you're communicating with a divine masculine, don't speak for them. You speak from your side of the fence. So you are being clear as to where the traffic lights are, and you're giving them a green light of a feeling. You're not hiding how you feel. You're being transparent. And then sometimes we even feel that, okay, well, what's the hold up? Everything's fine, so why isn't it moving? It doesn't mean to say that person isn't needing a minute. Say if they've left a situation, lost a job, moved through a karmic cycle, that they need a minute to recover. And that's actually not personal. It may frustrate you if you've waited years, but think back to when you have been through grief. We're human beings. We're not, it's not just because somebody really, really messed you up and betrayed you. It's not an IOU. It's you wish you had that, okay? So life doesn't always happen on our terms the way we feel it. And sometimes when I really looked at my twin flame path, I actually, even in the toxic crap I had happen to me, I had it good. I've seen some things, and I would rather be a feminine than a masculine. I'm just, Elizabeth, help me out here, sister. I can't wait till we can get this webinar done. It's hard, and I think some of us that are in connections with our twins, we do need to speak about it. We do need to talk about these things, that there's two sides to this story. There's difficulties, there's expectations at the moment. This whole month is really hitting the masculines hard. It's really, but it's aiding them, it's helping them, it's healing them, so to speak. It's quite a large portal. Could it feel burdensome? Yes, but can it be transformed? 100%. My phone's cooking. I can't believe I've been here. You don't feel like that. Well, after a person hurts you, of course you don't. You know what I mean? But then the other thing that we need to say is when we're saying these things, if they're currently not communicating with us, do we have those things right now? No. And so we got what we asked universe to give us. And so it's about learning to feel comfortable at that point in the transition in your twin flame path of, okay, I ask for no more toxicity, and suddenly there's crickets and you're like, why is it so quiet? You wanted no toxicity, sister. You got no toxicity. You got peace. Let's peace it. You got your house. You got your whole world. I'm telling you, this journey can drive you cuckoo. It can. I'm looking at these scales. Better hide the name of it. There's scales in this. Carrie, if you've been on my path, you'd be laughing at your life too. Yeah, mine is just retired, broke off a year relationship, is still dealing with his ex-wife. When did he break it up, Joel? He needs more time, and I think so do I. Hey, look, don't walk away. Keep going. It's move into the issue and both of you will heal. Elizabeth and I can vouch for the fact that, you know, going back into our union, there were triggers every day, but you're going to end up together. You might as well just walk into it. But just try and make it a very comfortable space that you have some code words. If you need coaching, come through. You know, if you're getting to a space that you're feeling the communication factors funky, look, if we're feeling overreactive, it's better to explain why it makes you feel that way. But you can't then not understand, you know, some of the things that they're dealing with. And having a hobby, having some sense of purpose to really focus on kept me extremely balanced. So because I wasn't so focused on, you know, what he was doing and how it was going with the karmic situation, the family, etc., I was very busy every single day. It helped, it really did, because I had a purpose. And I think when you don't, I found whenever I shifted too much focus and emphasis on what, in my opinion, I think he should do, and he's pretty darn on it, stubborn like me, it just got out of line, and it's not necessary. It's like, we have to look at this and go, I don't know how our parents trained us. We didn't even know this happened. But suddenly we are always constantly fixated on what another energy is doing. And I had to look at my life and say, okay, well, you're so good at doing other people, but do you do you well? Where's your schedule at? Is it okay, sister? So it helped me re-navigate my focus into my life. And the funny thing is, have you ever noticed with kids, if you're busy, it's the same shit. Ma, you know, you're on the phone. Oh, that's right, yeah. Ma. Okay, what happens when you shift too much focus? They're busy. That's any human being. You know, if you're up in someone's grill too much and you're like, and it's great, but I mean too much, the person's fixated on other crap. It's showing you, mirror that energy. They're doing that, you do this. But move into it. Yeah, just keep focusing on it, sweet. And just don't, you guys will talk again and just be transparent. It triggered me. I apologize. I know this wound is in me. It's something I need to look at. It caused concern. Okay? And that's being honest. That takes some time. So by being transparent in that situation, you're able to only speak from yourself and to make it a comfortable setting and say, look, hey, I don't own you, but I love you and you have been focused elsewhere a lot. I know you have things going on. Get it, but, you know, that made me think X, Y, Z. Do you know what I mean? And it's hard because we, you know, obviously when things happen around the world, we do get concerned about people. My deepest commitment and connection is to myself and my twin. Do I have empathy for people that I had connections to? Yeah, 100%. You know, things have happened in extended energies of family. I had to apologize for bombarding Miss. That's all right. So, any questions in the house? God, it's getting bloody hot in here. Not at all. I told him. Yeah, and that's all right. Just don't get scared. Just sit with it and go, okay, fair enough. But you're being transparent, and you'll find it'll actually, you know, they ascend very quick after this. So I can say once Elizabeth, probably on her side, I'd love to hear her side. What I found was some reconciliation. My twin put me to shame. I mean, he did better than me. I'm thinking, shit, this has taken me 20 odd bloody years, and I'm looking at you, which I can't say a majority of the ascension process, which I'm still currently going through. There was a snippet there that it was just 2-3 years of hell, right? I have noticed in transits through the astrology, when you do have the 1st and the 7th house placement, generally you guys are up for reconciliations. Yeah, that's really how it happened with me. I think I was talking to, who was I talking to? Was it you, Char? And we were looking at my chart, you know, of that time frame and when that window portal was, and it was pretty much, you know, we had Chiron and Aries. We had the Cancer Capricorn axis, and I've got Cancer in my chart. And I do tend to find when you do transform through the 1st and 7th house, you get an epiphany. You have an epiphany. And it was kind of back to back because we had axes happening, you know, in other zodiac signs that were linking to my star sign. And now I'm in a nodal reversal. So pretty much from 2017, from reconciliation. Things popped off to do with 2012. And I'd been shifting from that point. Major portal in 2002, and then it really accelerated. So all up in the dark night of the soul, it was probably, when I look at it, I would say 2 years. It was on and off 2 years, but it wasn't, the hardest peak was in separation, which was around, I'd say 5 months. So the deepest peak of it kind of opened up, shut down, and then I had a peak through the 1st and the 7th house, and it was around, I think it was about 5 months, so I can say the hardest, but I was really forcing myself to do the shadow work. I was forcing myself to have no connections, in a sense of codependency. I wasn't looking outside myself, and I just put myself in the naughty corner. Did I do work all right? I bloody did. I busted my ass. And my heart in the same place. It kind of expanded. So it is possible, especially this year, for a lot of reconciliations. Don't critique yourself of how great your skills are. You're not going to go back into union perfect. You're going to be pretty done on it there where you can logically look at things. But when you go back into it, you're just facing a shadow. I mean, I do remember one day I was like, I mean, he was showing up. He was great. He was perfect. He was lovely. I was the problem. I'm sure he experienced the same thing because, you know, it's like, it's two energies that do care about each other deeply, but have had a lot of history together. So obviously it's hard. Yeah, I was like, what the frick? I just remember looking at it going, no wonder you motivate me. Like, hats off to you, buddy. I still to this day, I'm absolutely floored. So, yeah, I just can't say more. Absolutely floored. How do you deal with your twin is you don't. Usually in a mirror sense, it will be that we have a habit elsewhere spiritually. It can be some sense of codependency, but it can also be just don't nursemaid it, okay? It is very hard. It's common. I'll just say it frankly. It's common. But again, it's usually a band-aid to a deeper unresolved energy. And so you find when they go through the awakening, they do tend to purge it. This could be a year that that individual does purge it, because we have Jupiter in Pisces and it can accelerate and make it fast, especially this month. It can be bringing that shadow energy up, but just don't enable, step back. And you can actually, depending on if you're in communication with that person, if you want to do like remote healing, you can use citrine, tourmaline, and obstinate. And just when you're doing meditation, first you'd have to be very grounded. I probably wouldn't do it this month. I'd do it more towards the Virgo moon. After the Virgo moon, get yourself anchored in and grounded. If you directly can connect into them in a channeled energy through guided meditation, what you would need to do is be grounded, right? You need to ask permission to connect in with that soul. You can hold the crystals, and you can spiritually do some sacral chakra healing on them, because it'll be an overactive sacral chakra. Okay. Usually it can relate to family, but yeah, just give the individual citrine, tourmaline, and it's to do with shadow work, and yeah, just lots of fluid for detoxes, and to it's either an underactive or overactive sacral chakra and solar plexus. So what happens is it's the addictive tendency. So it's, you know, kind of becomes sluggish and overflows. I met my TF through, but you can do guided meditation. I put citrine under my twin's pillow, or bed actually, and it worked for him, so for detoxing. Look, a karmic, and because it's collective energy, at the moment, you could have a twin right now that is purging a karmic situation, which will be more psychological. It could be a karmic energy of a romantic partner, or it can be a karmic energy of family or work colleague, an attitude or habit. Usually we will have a karmic associated to an area of our life, and it's usually habits, but you'll usually see a little bit of a mirror in your own life of where that lands, and if you do the inner work on it, you can clear it and it'll move. I'm in touch with a group of twin flames, and at the time that actually, they're not getting redirected. They're ready to have union. And I've said this 100 times. You're going to attract another twin flame, and it's your spiritual test. And if you don't pass your test, it's about being truthful. So generally, if you hadn't noticed through your path, when you come to terms with things, suddenly all these people come in. Another person's twin flame is not your twin flame. Usually they're further back in the path than you friggin' are, and you trigger them and you won't be happy. So really gauge it very cautiously. I did meet another twin flame, so did my twin, and we both did it simultaneously, and it's when I stumbled across it and I was like, oh shit, what do we got here? You can attract others, but be it's a soulmate, once you go past a certain point of your ascension, you will trigger a lot of people around you and you can boost them into an awakening. So you have to be very accountable with what you do with your energy. With how much help you give, with what information you provide to them. It can come through in your aura, it can come through in your touch, it can come through in your attitude and the way you directly handle them. If you think back to how you would handle the twin flame path years ago, you don't handle it that way. So if you can picture your twin being 20 years back and you're meeting someone in a similar setting, you're going to trigger that person aggressively into their awakening. Now, that may be necessary, not nice. So again, accountability. But generally it is because you tend to get somebody coming just before reunion. So, you know. And they might, honestly, they'll go into it and within a week, 2 weeks, they'll know. They'll be like, you're like, and then you're like, it just, come back to me and tell me how it goes. Yeah, it'll be, Tell them to come and talk to me then. I've got to get this education content done. I don't teach what I haven't seen. I'm like, don't do it. And again, this point at the moment is, how do I put it? This point here is acting like a Venus retrograde. Okay? Everything's direct. We're all dreamy in our feels. Okay? Some twins will go back to a karmic relationship. It may not last a week. You know, it's like, oh, I'll just fill that void. Some can have great reconciliations right now as well with twin flames. So it's not all yuck. It's more in a karmic cycle setting. Believing Hades looks like heaven. It's great. It's great. No, it's not. I'm stewing in here. Well, I hope this session has helped. I come on just to have a ha-ha. I'm live tomorrow. We're going to tune into the energy for the twin flame connection jointly. If I can bloody wake up. It's now 5 minutes to 11. If any would like to donate to the page, you can do it via the website. If you need a booking, you better get on the website now because I'm blocking it off. I've got too much to do. I'm blocking the last half of the month out. Super chats tomorrow at $11. And if you want to connect into the website, we're going to have, by March, we're going to have the updates. The members hub's open. If it's not, tell me, okay? Not, it looks great, you'll just know. There's a door, right? That's what I put on the post, a locked door. I thought it was funny. A locked door. What you didn't tell me, I didn't listen. I didn't know. I heard from my side of the fence. So basically on the landing page of the members, you can sign in, sign up. You get the freebie membership first. Go to the subscribe page, select freebie membership. Or usually when you go to the hub, it'll just get you to go, to do that. Sign in as a Patreon of the page. Bang, you get the landing page. The landing page, once signed in, has all these little boxes. Okay, they're lovely and they're white, and it's astrology, it's members news, it's your zodiac signs, it's twin flame hub, and it's all free. Now the new content's coming. The first freebie I put out, which I believe was a purpley image, it doesn't go into great depth. The next one that is coming in March will have at the top of the paid subscription an open article that you're able to view. And then if you say, look, I want to become a subscriber, you then can purchase the bloody thing, right? If you don't, each month you get a freebie aspect of the article. And when I've got time, I'll give you additional updates. That's for masculine, feminine, karmic. Yeah, zodiac signs, sun, moon, rising, and Venus on the website. You still get the star signs here, psychic, which hopefully I've got enough time to do mid-month. I've got the twin flame updates that are going into the members hub Friday. Okay, they're the new ones because it's quite late with the other ones, so apologies. It was due to some things happening. So you'll have divine feminine, divine masculine, and the karmic third party will be going into the members hub, and the extension reads will be open as well. I don't know if I should be mean and just wait a couple of days to put the extensions out, and you'd be like, no, I won't be mean to you. You guys, you're my members. I love yous. You keep me afloat. What do you reckon, Google? Should I leave it till about, I'll put them in on Friday, and just as I open them to the public, I'll give you extensions. Hot or not. Okay, I'll let you go, and I'll see you on Friday, tomorrow. And I believe by the 13th we're changing it to, so this will be the last one at 7 a.m. GMT, and then it's going to 8 a.m. because you are changing the bloody clocks again. So I'm trying to be fair to give people a heads up. So tell me if it suits, and I'll see you on the other side.